Nay, I say he started it. Get him, ground him, banish him to earth, something. Thou speakest lies. Do not, neener, neener, neener. Kids. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm going to finish off the Avengers Legends Infinite Allfather series with the Build-A-Figure itself, Odin. Now, before I actually built Odin, I was seeing a lot of pictures of people customizing him, repainting the armor gold, adding some color here and there. I think I'm fine with him as is. His beard could use, a little detail. The horns could use a little detail. But overall, the way the armor looks, I kind of like it. Here he is with the Thor from the same series. Again, the armors and, costumes match up. There's continuity there. The cape, little clasps match up. Size-wise, they match up. Odin may be a little thin. We'll get to that in a minute. But overall, I'm liking him more than I thought I would. Now, here he is with an older Loki. Yeah, Loki's a little bit smaller, little ugly, outdated articulation scheme. But again, all three of them together, they look good. I'm good with Loki being smaller, not being, Asgardian, half-brother. And as much as I love the movie Loki, I kind of like my comic Lokis to be, ugly, trickster, kind of, underhanded. And this Loki gives me that, evil-looking face. He's thinner, smaller. All three of them together look great. This makes me want more Asgardians. Now, like I said a minute ago, he is a little thin, seemingly thin, I guess. He's not as thick as Thor. He's not as thick as, some of the big, strong guys like you would expect Odin. But, this is aged Odin. Maybe he's a little smaller. The cape actually adds to his bulk a little bit, because without it, he looks really thin. Not super thin, but, the armor piece is a bit odd, not attached to the torso. Maybe you could do that. Maybe not. It just looks okay down. Here's the back. The armor has a little bit of metallic sheen to it. It's got a black wash on it, as does the legs. The armor piece is there. I like the sculpt of the knee pads. Everything's there. I mean, the skin tone could use a little bit of shading, and like I said, the beard could be darkened up a little bit while keeping the gray. Yeah, the usual paint detail work. Now the cape works really well. It pegs into the hole in the back of his, there's the peg. It pegs into the back. It's a little bit stiff, like all the rest of the capes in this series. But coming over, yeah, it could be even, but at least it stays down on the shoulders. Unlike, Hyperion, his kind of floated up into space. Odin stays down pretty good. And I like that they did add the blue with the cape. Add a little color. Not a bad thing. Now, articulation-wise, his head is on a ball joint because it pops on and off. Up, down, new because of, beard. A little bit of side-to-side rotation. His shoulders are hinge and swivel. He's only going to go that far up, but it swivels all the way around. Now the shoulders remind me of older figures, that they're shaped to kind of bulge out of the body a little bit. So you get a little gap, especially right here. Get a little gap here. It's not terrible. It increases the range of movement, so I can't complain too much. He has a bicep swivel, and he has an elbow swivel. Again, redundant, but the big guys, they seem to be doing it this way. The elbow also has a hinge. He's only going to go that far. 45 maybe. But he's going to be standing on the shelf, holding his spear, commanding all the other Asgardians. Wrist is on hinge and swivel. Swivel, swivel. The torso joint actually works pretty good. You get side to side movement here. Back, forward not so much. Big guy, you know, usual problems. The skirt is a hard plastic piece, and, you know, just like all the other Hasbro figures, loose. You can slide it up and down. The hips are on a hinge and swivel, but you're not going to get a lot of movement because of this skirt. It does go forward. There's a thigh swivel, double knee, and then hinge on the ankle, and then the rotation for rocker ankle. Now, one of the problems I had putting him together were the hip balls. Shoving the thigh up onto the hips took quite a bit of force. I didn't like that too much, and in fact, after, you know, sweating it out a couple times, the legs would still fall off. I'm not quite sure they're even on all the way now, but they seem to be sticking, so he's not going to fall apart. His spear, he comes with it. It fits pretty good in the hand. His hand is slightly stiff, but you can get in there really easy. The staff is a bit plain. It needs some color, just some detail work maybe, some wash, but it serves its purpose. It's, you know, Asgardian technology, magic and might. Overall, I do like the Build-A-Figure. I'm glad that overall, I do like the Build-A-Figure. I do like Odin. He adds to the Asgardians, which we're sorely needing many more. Like I said earlier, he does look good with, you know, the two boys. I did get a packaged Captain Marvel. Found the series at Toys R Us. I ended up getting an extra for a custom project. So I did end up with parts for King Thor. Even though I have no interest in building him, really, I missed out on that whole storyline. But for the most part, he does look good. I mean, he essentially looks like Odin with, you know, the other eye missing. But no headdress. He's just straight up old man. I may be able to find some use for this in the future. And she did come with the axe. I cannot remember the name of it. It's a bit warped. I'm thinking it should be straight, but it looks a little bit small. So there's that. And then she did come with a red cape for the King Thor build. It's the same cape as Odin, just in red and silver instead of blue and gold. Oh, for the Thor build, he did come with a different left arm for his armored look, and it looks pretty great. It looks kind of like the Destroyer's arm. Again, I missed that storyline. I'll have to go back someday when I have a lot more time and read that. The right arm for Thor is exactly like Odin's. So, saying that I did find another Carol, I'm planning on switching her feet out with my Scarlet Witch. If you go back and watch that video, you'll see that I got two Scarlet Witches. The first one was floppy, the second was great, so I may go back to the floppy one, switch out the feet. If you'd like to see that, leave a comment. I may, you know, I'm thinking about trying to mod the other blue cape I ended up with for Sentry, maybe a better cape for him, we'll see about that. Maybe an extra Iron Fist, put those parts onto a green Hydra body, see what that looks like. And I think there's a couple more in the wave that needs, you know, slight fixes here and there. Maybe a Hawkeye harness fix. And maybe an arm switch. I haven't found, you know, arms that will be easily switchable. But if you'd like to see all that, I may throw that into a whole video. Throw me a comment below and see how much interest there is in that. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. And you can mix and match them any way you please, making all kinds of awesome kung fu poses, which the body is capable of. But at the same time, the hands may look a little large. Now, like I said a minute ago, he is a little thin.